right, Dr. Velikapudi, please take it away.
Hello, everyone. As interventional cardiologists, our field is one of the busiest, and we are one of the most committed group of physicians in medicine, always on our toes, ready and prepared to save lives. From STEMI calls to complex cases in the cath lab to prevention in the clinics, I think we do it all. But when was the last time we thought about our own finances or investments or retirement? Maybe we should do it today with our guest speaker, Syed Nishat, and our awesome panel here of early to mid-career to very experienced SCAI members. Today's webinar is the first of a series of 3 webinars that we are hosting as part of the SCAI Wellness Committee. We will discuss estate tax and investment planning as well as asset protection for interventional cardiologists. The goal is to educate all of us about the importance of financial planning and to become financially independent. I'm Dr. Poonam Valgapudi, co-chair of the SCAI Wellness Committee and your moderator today. Apologies from Ilya Raiboy, my co-moderator, who had some travel snafus and hence could not be here today. Our esteemed panel includes Dr. David Cox, Dr. Sarah Martinez, and Dr. Amit Huda, all well-known interventional cardiologists and SCAI members. Our guest speaker today is Syed Nishat, who is a certified financial planner and certified fiduciary advisor. His articles and interviews about asset protection and common financial mistakes by physicians have been published in MedPage Today and Medscape. He's regularly quoted and interviewed in media outlets like Forbes, Kevin MD, US News, Investment News, and Yahoo Finance. I've personally attended his webinars and have found them very useful, and I hope it'll be very useful for you all as well. It's an interactive webinar today. We'll ask questions and Syed will answer. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll answer them. We'll try our best to answer them for you. A quick disclaimer is that please do consult your own advisors and attorneys for any advice regarding your finances. This is just trying to give you a general overview of things that Syed will be discussing. So Nishat, thank you so much for coming. Before we delve into our very important topics, let's start off with a few questions that are very pertinent to finances for interventional cardiologists. So in your experience, tell us some top financial planning points that physicians need to know, but perhaps maybe not well aware of.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Valgapudi, to inviting me, and thank you, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it in your busy time, and thank you very much all the volunteer work you do from your busy time. Really appreciate it. Now, some lighter topic while we are waiting for more people to join in. A lot of people ask for 2026. What are the steps we can take to get started? And these are again, we see as a CFP for the last 22 years, physicians. We see making their financial plan. Number one is not taking care of their health. This is a taboo topic. A lot of physicians don't want to talk about it, especially mental health, because physicians, you're very busy. And I think, sick. I got flu, I think, a few weeks ago. I went to Mount Sinai, busy, crazy. No life, no balance, insane. So I do understand what you go through. So it's very important to take care of your physical and mental health. Number two, updating the will in trust. That's very important. If you have your old will, old trust every 5 years, we do recommend to update it. Some investment to avoid, life insurance, annuities. A lot of people say that life insurance, a lot of times what happens, you go to financial advisor, they tend to be insurance agent and they end up actually selling your life insurance, VOL, as a policy. Our recommendation as a CFP, try to get into simple investment like index funds, as the investment life insurance hasn't worked out so far. Doing concentrated position. So this is quite common in the physician community. I see a lot of WhatsApp group, they talk about buying, stocks like PLTR, NVIDIA, all of it, keep chatting about this. And I see that physicians put everything into 1 or 2 stock nowadays. Is very, very popular. So my suggestion is try to avoid the concentrated position if it's possible. Fees. Fees are very important. When you use a financial advisor, take a look at fees, especially even if you buy mutual funds, what happened, they have expense ratio, plus you pay financial advisor their fee as well. There's a statistic has been done, on average, consumers pay about 1.25% fee per year because they don't pay attention to the fee. You can avoid it just buying index funds. So again, try to look at the fee. That's very important. Last two topic is not enjoying the present. A lot of physician I see our clients just keep work, work, work. Keep saving, saving. Especially in our culture, in India, people keep talking about saving for children, but not enjoying for their life. So it's very important that enjoy the moment. This hand moving we're doing is a blessing. Tomorrow it's not going to come back. So again, make sure you enjoy your life. And lastly, when you look for a financial advisor, I do recommend look for at least a CFP or CFA, some credential. Unfortunately, in America, in order to be a financial advisor, you don't need to be high qualified. You can just be a high school degree and get a couple of licenses and become a financial advisor. My recommendation to before you use a financial advisor, go to this website called FINRA or SAC and look for their background check. Because I'm sure, Dr. Velgaburi, you heard about this, Ponzi scheme, Bernie Madoff, those stuff happens quite a bit. So it's very important that use a financial advisor, that use a custodian like Fidelity and Schwab and invest your money. So in this way, the chances of frauds are very low. So I know that is the 7 steps I spoke about from a financial planning point of view. So if you can just follow the step, it will help you a lot in your financial planning for the year 2026.
Awesome. As a certified financial planner, can you suggest some good ways to invest? Is it individual stocks, annuities, mutual funds? Just explain to us, what's the best way.
Yeah, my suggestion as a CFP is just to buy index funds. Index fund like SPY or Nasdaq index funds. You can just, Google it or use Chat GPT, and they can easily tell you the best index funds, and you can compare it the expense ratio. Why? Because what happened that a lot of time physician just buy one or two stock like Nvidia, Google, or Netflix, and just put everything into one basket. If you put like, $50,000 in S&P, I'm talking about in 1960, and just leave it the money until 2020, this 50,000 becomes almost about 9 million without buying, selling anything. And a lot of physician, Dr. Velgaburi says that, hey, you're telling me to buy majority of my money into SPY. What if SPY becomes zero? I got news for you. If SPY becomes zero, we have bigger problem. Your house price will become zero. And we all have to sell our house and go back to India and do farming there. So it's not possible. So SPY is diversified for you already. You don't have to worry about buying and selling. Just put SPY and other index fund, diversify within index fund. Though, make sure you have some international, some S&P 500, some Dow Jones, some NASDAQ, and just buy it and forget about it. And if you have a lot of cash, do something called dollar cost average. You don't need a financial advisor. You can just do the passive management and be ahead of the game.
So, Syed, what's the benefit of having a CFP or a CPA? I mean, why are we paying a fee to financial advisors when you can't beat the market and really suggest this best index funds?
You don't have to. That's why you call this, I guess. Yeah. So you can just do it yourself. That's why we are here to tell you that, because what happened, a lot of advisors or financial advisors, they call themselves, they don't say it because they don't get paid for it, right? I mean, what are you saying? And what I just said is boring, but that's the truth. The SPY, you can backtrack it. You're good to go. A lot of times advisors are talking about beating the market. Statistically, I have seen 92% hedge fund people, active management cannot beat the market, including myself. I mean, think logically. If I can beat the market, you think I should be doing webinar with you? I'd be a billionaire right now, correct? You should be calling me. So no one can beat the market at all. You use financial advisor for other services. So other services are what? So if you need help into, let's say, estate planning, complicated tax planning, need help. If you need in college planning, and like it or not, a lot of physicians find it overwhelming. Like my wife, she works. She's very smart, but when to come to financial planning, she's at zero interest, and she'd rather pay a financial advisor to take care of it. So, in my opinion, physician can easily become a financial advisor. Financial advisor cannot become a physician. So you have so smart, you should be able to buy this index fund. You don't need a financial advisor. But if you need advanced planning, then you can consider using a financial advisor and paying all these fees.
What's your thoughts on the market outlook this year, and which sectors do you think are good for investors?
Yeah. So in our opinion, we manage 1.2 billion AUM, and in our opinion, a lot of physicians or investors, they're investing heavily into AI last year. Everything is, you talk to anyone, is AI, all of it. So in our opinion, AI, there is a room to go down because it went up so much. I mean, if you take a look, NVIDIA, Google went up like crazy. So my suggestion will be, our suggestion will be, try to get into the sectors that will go up due to AI. And what are those? Those will be construction sector, in our opinion. So you can think about buying index funds for construction, utility sectors. We believe financial sector this year will go higher. We also believe that international sector will be higher. There's something called PE ratio, price to earning ratio. I'm getting a little bit technical. The forward-looking PE ratio for S&P 500 is 24, that including the growth of AI. But the PE, price to earning ratio, for international is only 14. So international is very cheap. So try to get into some money into China, some money into Mexico. So you can take a look into buy some diversified index from Vanguard and Schwab. 10 to 15% of the money you should put into there, and the rest of it you can buy Standard and Poor index fund that you like, Dow Jones index funds, and technology index funds. If you're going to diversify the portfolio in such a way and just leave it there, don't put everything into AI, I think you will be a headstrong for 2026. But make sure, be ready for a 10 to 15% pullback because the market is very, very stretched.
That's great. The only PE we knew so far was pulmonary embolism. So this is a new PE. I have Dr. Sarah Martinez. We'll just have a couple questions.
Just a little bit of a question regarding, some questions I had from my colleagues were, perhaps you can talk about it, ETFs versus mutual funds, and any recommendations on one versus the other. I know there's some advantages on ETFs, particularly with capital gains and some tax advantages. I'm just wondering if that's a similar logic on placing within ETFs, especially something like, and what the risk would be in something as volatile as the REIT ETFs, and just your thoughts about that.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So our recommendation from a tax point of view is to buy index funds and ETF, in our opinion. What happened, ETFs are new. Mutual funds were there for a long period of time. But in the next 10 years, we see that mutual funds are fading away. This high expense ratio doesn't make sense. And it is counterproductive, though, because what happened at the end of the year, they pay capital gain tax. It doesn't really make sense. There could be some arguments can be made to buy mutual funds into bonds. So, for example, Dr. Belgabri, I'm going to use you as an example. You have some money sitting in the bank, you don't need it for a few years. You want to buy bonds. Bonds are basically called fixed incomes. You can just want to buy it. So you have two options. You can buy individual bonds, like New Jersey Tunnel bonds, you can buy it, or you can buy a mutual fund that has diversified bonds in it. So an argument can be made, that buy the mutual funds. But again, our recommendation is to buy index funds, low expense ratio, and from a tax point of view is very, very efficient.
It's great. Dr. Cox?
Syed, thank you. 3 quickies. I have 2.27 children. How much life insurance do I need, and who can help me sort that out?
Sure. So the life insurance, usually what happens, so there are 2 ways to look into it. One is a generic blanket comments, whatever your income times 10. That's what a lot of people say. Okay, but you may not have liability. Well, how can you come up with income times 10? So the right answer is, as a CFP, is you just have to add how much mortgage you have, number 1. Plus, you have to add, if the children are going to college, how much it's going to cost them. That's number 2. Number 3, you just have to add how much other debts you have, if you have any debts. And number 3, you just have to add it. If anything happens to you, your family should have 5 years worth of liquidity, monthly income, monthly expenses that you have it, liquidity. You just have to add it together. This is ideally the life insurance you should have it, the right way of doing it. But if you don't want to think about it, simple, definitely your over coverage if you have whatever your income times 10.
Well, I'm very much like your wife. I don't like to think about it.
All right.
The other 2 quickies are, should I invest in cryptocurrency? And then the final question is, should we as interventionalists invest in our field, i.e. some of the technical new things, smaller startup companies? Is it worth the risk of investing in something that we know?
Absolutely. It's a very good question. So two questions you had: cryptocurrency, should we invest into it? We believe, a portion of the portfolio can be into, Bitcoins. So the one that our company, our broker dealer, approve it is IBIT. We don't really allow to buy Bitcoin for our clients, but we do believe a portion, about 1% of the portfolio, you can think about buying crypto. Because but if you ask me the question, why are you buying crypto? My answer is I have no clue. I'm buying because everyone is buying it. But eventually what's going to happen, the market becomes so, the sector becomes so, too big to fail. So eventually government will make some sort of adjustment to make it legalize it. So yes, a portion could be there. Second question you ask, that should you invest into some sort of a startup in your field? Absolutely. But the foundation should be solid. What I mean by that, we see people make mistake. They put 20% of their net worth into Bitcoin, or 20% of their net worth into the startup idea you have it. And these ideas fail. If it fails, they lose all their net worth. So our recommendation, get the foundation done. What is the foundation? The foundation is you should have 6 months worth of saving in your bank, at least. Ideally 1 year, but if you don't have it, it's fine. 6 months worth of a saving. Your debt should be paid off. Even student debts, paid it off. You have to pay it anyway. Number 3, you should save at least 20% of your saving every year, whatever you earn. At least 20%, either in form of a retirement account or real estate or mutual fund, doesn't matter. At least 20%. You took care of all of it, and you have a house, and you did basic real estate investment as well. Then you have money, you don't know what to do. Then go ahead and maybe you can put 5% of your net worth into those investment, which is called alternative investment. It's okay.
Great. Those are great questions. Thanks, Dr. Cox and Dr. Martinez. Let's delve into the estate planning topic here, Syed, because that's something that everybody's probably waiting to hear about. Can you explain why do we need a will, and what's the probate and does having a will avoid probate? Let's talk about those topics.
Yeah, I think will is very important, regardless of your age. In my opinion, you should at least have a basic will done as soon as you start earning some money. In my opinion, will, I think, is a must. It's just not about net worth. It's about if anything happens to you. A lot of physicians have young children who will be taking the custody of the children. Those will be there in the will. If you don't have a will, the court decide who will take care of the custody of the children. So again, willness is a must, in my opinion. Also, there's a component as a physician, something called health proxy. Health proxy is very important. If you are in coma, life and death situation, that's very important. And power of attorney, life and death situation, or if you are, unable to make a decision about your finances, you should have a power of attorney as well. I think these 3 are basic. Everyone should have it, in my opinion, as soon as you start to earn some money, in my opinion. How much does it cost? A lot of physicians ask. Usually a basic will and power of attorney health proxy costs about $800. Again, it's about $800 it costs. Nowadays, due to AI, there's something called legalzoom.com. You can go if you want to save some money, $30, you can probably get it done. But I do recommend using an attorney. Just pay a little bit of money and just get it done. But what happened that if you have a will, it doesn't avoid probate though. What is a probate? So one of my clients recently passed away in Kentucky. The client just had a will. We also recommended to get a trust. The client didn't get it. Now, what happened? Client passed away. We had to take the copy of the will, go to the court. The court had to authenticate it. And this whole authenticated process takes about 6 months in Kentucky. And this whole process called probate. So will doesn't avoid probate. It's a public document. It goes to the court. It costs money. But if you are very young, just starting, I think will is a starting point, and you can put beneficiary in each account. Like if you have a 401k, put beneficiary there. Make sure. If you have a brokerage account, put beneficiary there. That will avoid probate. You don't need a trust for that. So again, will is there to take the custody of the children, but the other asset, you already titled it. you put house and everything, you will be able to avoid probate. So again, probate is very important. Make sure you avoid it if it's possible.
Great. So, what are the benefits of a revocable trust, and what are some mistakes you see in estate planning? You know, there's a revocable, irrevocable trust. What are the differences?
Absolutely. So when do you need a trust? Is will enough? People ask. Like for example, in my situation, I'm 46. Do I have a will and trust? I do not have a revocable trust. Why is that in my situation? Because I have two kids, young. My wife, if I die, if I create a trust, what happens is becomes very complicated. Most likely, my wife will remarry. I got two kids, so trust does not make sense for me. But I'm just saying it like if I'm a little older, I know everything is kind of stable, and I have a lot of assets beside retirement account. Then I should, in my opinion, I would get a trust at that time. What's the benefit of trust? There are a few benefits of trust. Number one benefit is avoids all probate. But remember, you can also avoid probate by titling it correctly as well. But again, trust, the benefit is the money goes immediately to the trust. You can put clauses there, what age the children have access to the money and everything, which you cannot do it if you just have a TOD designation. Number two, the benefit of trust is if you pass away, the children inherit the money, they get remarried, and a divorce happen, all protected for the children. Again, very, very powerful. You pass away, you have high net worth, the asset goes to the trust, your children remarry or marry and become divorced. Those assets are protected, very powerful. And number three, step up in cost basis. I know I'm getting technical, but I just want to very quickly about it. Step up in cost basis, what does it mean? Let's say you bought NVIDIA for $100, stock is $200 right now. I'm giving an example. You pass away, the money goes to the trust, the children inherit the money, their cost is 200, not 100, goes to them tax-free. So these are the advantage of a revocable trust. We would like to see your net worth more than 2 million. Again, not worth 2 million to create revocable trust. So again, let me rephrase. First step, will, power of attorney, health proxy, $800. Net worth more than 2 million. You are old enough, ideally over 50. Everything looks, marriage, everything looks good. Okay. Revocable trust is fine. How much does it cost? It costs about $3,500 to set it up. Again, about $3,500 to set it up. You create a trust, you move everything, the house, the brokerage account, the retirement account. The benefit is if anything happens to you, no probate. What are the mistakes people make, you mentioned, in creating will and trust? They create the trust, but they don't move assets. You have a house, move it under name of trust. You have a brokerage account, move it under name. If you don't move it, it still goes to the probate. So that's the biggest mistakes we see people make when they create this will and trust. Hopefully, it answered your question.
Yeah. Let's go to another important topic. A lot of the interventional community also has non-US citizens, and how does it affect estate planning with them? And I know Dr. Huda has a question there as well, maybe the two of you.
Sure. So what happened that in America, husband, wife, both US citizen, they passed away. Between husband, wife, everything, no taxes. If husband passed away, wife, US citizen, she gets everything tax-free, nothing to worry about. That's not the case for non-US citizen, by the way. The amount is about $185,000. Anything more than $185,000, there's a taxes due. All right. Because what happened that you came, let's say an H1 visa or J1 visa or F1 visa, you pass away, your wife take the money, never pay the taxes and go back to her own country. That's the reason why this law is there. What's the solution for that? So we're not going to go too detail about it, but if you're a physician, non-US citizen, talk to your attorney about in a trust, put something called Q dot provision. Again, Q DOT is qualified domestic. A trust as a clause. What does it mean? It means the money stays there and the spouse will not access to the money until she becomes a US citizen. So again, it saves that money, the taxes I'm talking about. But again, this is only for non-US citizens. Speak to your attorney about that.
Yeah, Dr. Huda.
Yeah, thank you, Nishat. It's a lot of information, especially like even in my early career also, we were never that much educated about all these things. And I'm also learning gradually. especially today. It's very informative. I have a few questions. Like one thing, like we are in a very high risk profession, and we have malpractice also as an interventional cardiologist. How does that factor into our assets? If do we need to have a like trust beforehand, or like somebody can come behind us and get something from our assets? Like how we should factor that thing into it?
Yeah. So the first question is that how much asset, what assets you're trying to protect? That's the number one question. Usually what happens if you just go to a lawyer, a lawyer will give you all the options possible and charge you a hell lot of money. So my suggestion will be that if your net worth is below 5 million, don't overcomplicate stuff. Remember, what you want to avoid is frivolous lawsuit. Like on purpose, if you committed a crime, there's nothing called, nothing can protect you, right? Obviously. But what you want to make sure that if, let's say, something, a coverage happen on top of your malpractice, usually most of the time it settles there. If it happens, there are few things you can do depending on the state you are in. So I'll just share my slides. So if you are in New Jersey, New York is one of the it's a bad state to get lawsuit. So New Jersey is okay. South is much better, like Florida and everyone. That's much better. So let's say I'm talking about an example of New Jersey. New Jersey recently passed joint tenants by entirety. Again, it's statute similar to Florida. It has not been tested yet. What I mean by that is not been tested means it hasn't gone to court yet. It's recent. But as long as the assets joined by tenancy in New Jersey, like primary house, brokerage account, it has elements of asset protection. Again, elements of asset protection. Number two, one option could be, Dr. Huda, if you're physician and your spouse is non-physician. Have more asset under your non-physician spouse name, as long as you trust her. But the problem is if you get a divorce, you'll be on the street. So as long as, the good understanding there, maybe, she has most of the assets. One option could be there. Third option, if you invest into real estate, don't have under individual name because the tenants may sue you, right? Have an LLC and have the LLC own the real estate. In this way, the assets are within the LLC purview. If your net worth more, so far I talked about 2 to 3 million. This is your net worth. This is the things to do. Now, let's say your net worth is 5 million to 10 million. Then you can think about something called FLP, Family Limited Partnership. Like you have too much cash in the bank. I'm going to use Dr. Cox as an example. If that's the situation, all right, you can open up an FLP. You can put the money into the FLP. As long as you don't take the money out within FLP, the assets are fairly protected. Again, it's not 100%. Again, if you don't, it will be settled somewhere if a loss would happen. But remember, the next topic, 401k, cash balance plan, IRA, they're very, very protected. So that's why physicians should defer money into 401k IRA because it's very, very protected. My recommendation, at least get $2 to $3 million umbrella policy. So remember, umbrella policy doesn't cover malpractice. But like Dr. Huda, I just Googled you right now while I was talking to you. You have a lot of good reviews, Dr. Cox. I just reviewed you, amazing reviews. All I have to do is just Google you and just sue you if I need to get money. We gotta have money. So one option could be that at least have some umbrella policy. It's not going to cover the malpractice, but it's going to cover any frivolous lawsuit you may have it. Once your net worth more than 10 million, just in case, then you can think about something called offshore trust or something called Nevada. I'm just going to show you Nevada Asset Protection Trust. Once you put the money after 3 years, the assets are protected. But again, it's very expensive. It costs about $6,000 to set it up. And it's a $2,000 yearly maintenance fee. So I know I kind of break it down. So up to 2 million to 3 million. Think about this first few points I spoke about, 3 to 5 million. I do recommend FLP, 401k, umbrella policy. More than 10, only then can consider about those stuff I spoke about. Hope it makes sense.
Thank you. Another thing, like most of our early career physicians, they are in debt because of student loans. And it's always first you think, let's repay the debt and then only think about investing. Though I have seen some of my colleagues, like when we were in like a residency or fellowship, some people started early because the employer also, I think, add on some amount to it. I think a lot of our colleagues are not aware of those things, and employer also doesn't take a active process to inform them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, in our opinion, because of the high interest rate, you should pay this off 5%. Remember, a lot of physicians, unfortunately, they take student loans, but if the payment is not due towards the school, but it's compounding though, it becomes a lot. But remember, right now the interest rate, last time I checked, is about 6%. Remember, you have to make 6% just to break even, right? So if you have money, pay off the high interest rate, or if you can refinance it, that's great. If not, try to pay this off. There's something called Secure Act 2.0 passed. Again, Secure Act 2.0 passed 2 years ago. If you work for Mount Sinai, speak with them that part of the contribution they do for 401k can that be used to pay off some of your debts you have it. But Secure Act is very powerful. Speak to your employer whether they can be able to help you some portion to alleviate the burden you have it for the student loans.
Great. I think you covered the asset protection very well, Syed. Let's jump back to the estate planning topic. One important question I really wanted to ask you was about a child with special needs. And what are the estate planning consideration in that case here? You do have information on that.
Yeah, so if you have child with special need in America, if the child who needs special need, if the child has assets more than $2,000, all the government benefit goes away. It's very, very important, okay? So just make sure don't have any assets more than $2,000 under the child's name. The childs have special need like autism or any major physical need or mental need. One option could be you can think about something called special need trust. So it's special need trust is a revocable, or you can get an irrevocable trust. You can put the money into that for a special need trust, and that money does not count towards the $2,000 limit that the government impose. So again, if your child has a special need, sit down with a CFP or an attorney. I think that's very important to not have more than $2,000 under the child's name. And the estate planning must be created in such a way because the child should not inherit suddenly the huge amount of money, right? It needs to go through the special need trust to make sure the government benefits prevail. You can also speak to your CFP, something called ABLE account. ABLE account like New Jersey, New York is similar to 529, but it's a child with special need account. You can put the money into it, and the money grows tax-free. For other reasons beside education, you can use as well. So we can have a webinar of his own for child with special need, but I just want to point out there. So this is something if you have a child that needs special circumstances, speak to your financial advisor about that.
Great. Let's talk a little bit about estate tax. When do we worry about it, and is it avoidable?
Yeah, due to Big Beautiful Bill, the Trump administration recently passed, the net worth needs to be more than 30 million only to worry about the federal state tax. All right. But what happened that a lot of physicians, maybe in this webinar in New York has their own estate tax. So anything more than 7.5 million per individual, there's a estate tax actually due. It's a progressive, more than 14% you have to pay the New York state tax. One simple solution could be, remember we spoke about the revocable trust at the beginning? If you just have a joint revocable trust, it doubles at that time. The 7.5 times 2, 15 million, up to 15 million. Don't have to worry about the New York state tax. But just in case, if you think that you'll stay in New York, a lot of people, a physician, they start their practice in New York. When they become older, they end up moving to Florida or Texas. That's my experience has been, okay? But if you think you love New York so much, you want to stay here, okay. Net worth is growing. One option could be something called irrevocable trust. So this is irrevocable trust comes into play. Remember, we spoke about revocable trust just to avoid probate. When to use irrevocable trust? Irrevocable trust, to use it to gifting purpose to the children. Once you gift it, the money is out of your state. Again, revocable, money is part of your state, avoid probate. Irrevocable, also avoid probate, but the money you don't own anymore. It belongs to the children. You lose control over it. What's the benefit? Let's say you put $10 million into an irrevocable trust. I'm giving an example. The 10 million becomes 20 million tomorrow. It grew estate tax free. Again, there's no estate tax in it. Very, very powerful. So again, if your net worth is more than maybe 20 million, is keep growing, you're adding money. Think about spousal lifetime access trust. Flat is the one way to go about it. Hope it answered some of your question.
Yes, yeah. Any questions? I thought, Dr. Cox.
Yeah, can you go back? I think I want to sort of key off of Amit's question. You had made the comment that you should be each year 20% of your income should be invested in savings. I think that's a great hypothesis. That reality is disproven. I'm the proud father of 2 daughters. I guarantee you I never was out of debt. So, here I am. I'm beginning my career. I'm 3 years out of fellowship. I'm trying to pay my student loans off. My income isn't what my income is 15 years later. Is that 20% figure a mid-career target or late career target? Can you just sort of help us out to understand that a little bit better? I'd have a hard time saving 20% of my income in the first 10 years of practice.
Yeah, so this is just a generic comment. 20% of your income as a CFP, I have been taught. And this is something as the early career advice. Again, it's a generic advice. But how much saving that you need, it depending on when do you want to retire. And there's more circumstances out there because retirement, a lot of panelists in this audience are not thinking about retirement. They have other circumstances. So they have to sit down with your financial advisor and discuss what is important for them. But I'm just talking about maybe in a situation where you are in your late career, you're starting late, is 20% will work? Maybe not. Why is that? Because what happened usually in New York to retire comfortably, Dr. Cox, the number is at the age of 66, you need 6 million to have a comfortable retirement. That's the rule of thumb. How do you go to 6 million? The 20%, if you start early, you go there quick. But okay, fine, you didn't start early. You just have to probably you probably have to save more in the later years, or you maybe have to keep working. Why is that? Why did I say? Well, how 6 million came into play? 6 million, the rule of thumb, you can withdraw 4% every year. 4% of 6 million, how much is it? 240,000 every year, right? Plus, at the age of 66, Social Security will kick in. How much is it? 36,000. So 36, 240, if you're married, Social Security will be double, 60. That's your 300,000. You have to pay taxes, unfortunately. So let's say 30% goes in taxes. Net, you'll be making around close to $20,000 per month. So if you make $20,000 per month after taxes, you have a decent life in New York. You don't need to have worry about long-term care. None of these. You can have a very comfortable. But what happened, I have clients who are very happy with earning, whose net worth is 3 million, and the client is still working, doesn't want to retire. That's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Because the specific client started late, the client was in UK, came back, studied again, accumulated debt. So that's why the numbers I mentioned about is a generic term for young people to start saving if you can. If you cannot, then we have to rerun the number. A CFP will rerun the number and say, okay, how does it look like? So you can see when can you retire completely if you want to. I know it's a big answer I gave you, but
no, that was very helpful. Very helpful. Of course, why as an interventionist would you ever want to retire, right? It's the most fun that you possibly could have.
Correct.
I do think, Poonam, it's a generational difference. My generation seems to want to work 30 years. Honestly, I'm in my 33rd year and I'm still doing call 1 out of 4. I love it. That's not typical, but I think Amit's and Sarah's generation perhaps don't want to work that long. And so I think that's another piece of the equation as well. You got to really have a target date of when you're thinking, I'm not going to be an interventionalist anymore.
Absolutely. It's all depending individual. And this is where, if you want to think about have a discussion with your CPA or financial advisor, they can give you some individual guidance.
Great. That was great discussion. All right, let's move a little bit to the retirement topic since we're talking about it. We have the April 15th tax filing deadline coming up. And so give us some tax planning tips that we shouldn't be missing, Nishat.
Yeah, so unfortunately, 2025, most of the planning should have been done last year by December, but it's still there are a few things you can do before April 15th deadline. So number one is IRA account. All right, so if you're not contributing, so remember, IRA account is the income limit. If you're a resident or something, a lot of residents do qualify for it. Retirement account, take a look at the IRS website, see what the income threshold is. So if you're contributing in a 401k, your income is low, you can still contribute into IRA account. The money is pre-tax. All right. Number two, a lot of physicians don't do something called backdoor Roth IRA. So if you're starting off and have just a 401k, you can open up an IRA account and convert the money immediately to a Roth IRA. Again, there's no income restriction there into a conversion. Since you convert the money immediately to a Roth IRA, there's no gain there. So the way the process works, you open an IRA, you open a Roth IRA at the same time. You put the money into the IRA, you move the money immediately to a Roth IRA. So there's no taxes. And once you do it, the money grows tax-free. Again, backdoor Roth IRA, very, very powerful. HSA account, depending on your employer or if you're self-employed, HSA account, you can contribute about $9,000 ballpark. All money is pre-tax. And the beauty of HSA, after the age of 66, you can use the money for non-health reason as well. Very, very powerful. Some physicians, not everyone, do invest into real estate. I do not know anyone does it, but we have clients who are from Indian descent, Gujarati, they invest a lot into real estate. So if you invest into real estate before the tax filing deadline, there's something called cost segregation. Speak to your CPA about it. What does it mean? And why do people invest into real estate? All right. So if you invest into real estate for $1 million, I'm giving an example, you collect the rental income, right? But that particular real estate have something called depreciation schedule. What is the schedule? It's typically 39 years for commercial, 29 years for residential. What does it mean? Means the depreciation every year you can get to write off from the rental income. Got it so far? But the schedule is up to you. If you want to bring everything down from 39 years to 5 years, you can do it. This study is called cost segregation. What's the benefit? The benefit is any rental income you will collect because of the advanced depreciation, you can get to write off from the rental income. So I had a client for $1 million. We did a cost segregation study. We got 300,000 negative K1 from the property. We were able to write off any rental income the client has it. But again, still you have time for it before April 15 deadline. If you own real estate, speak to your CPA about it. Lastly, if you have 1099 income, locum, self-employed, you can still open up a defined benefit plan or a cash balance plan before the April 15 deadline. How does it work? It's a Secure Act that was passed. Due to Secure Act, the government allows you to open up a defined benefit plan. How much can you contribute? I'm just going to use my example, 46 years. I can contribute around close to $120,000 to $140,000 from my 1099 income. All money is pre-tax. So again, I know there's not many options there, but about 5 options there before April 15 deadline. Speak to your CPA. Any of this makes sense for you for 2025.
Great. I think it's time to touch upon a little bit the big, beautiful bill. Can you suggest some tax planning tips to prepare ahead for 2026?
Yeah. So the big, beautiful bill was passed July of last year and it's law now. A few things to just keep in mind from a tax point of view. So what happened, the state and local income tax for New Jersey, New York, remember what Trump was president, he lowered it down to 10,000, if you recall. So somehow, if you can bring your income down to below $500,000, which is maybe hard, then what happened, the state and local tax, you can go up to 40,000. Again, very powerful. Try to bring your income down. How do you bring your income down? I'll talk about the next slide. Number two, there's something called QBI, Qualified Business Income Deduction. What does it mean? If you invest into real estate, the rental income you collect, you can write off 20% of the rent as a deduction. Very, very powerful. Speak to your CPA about that due to big, beautiful bill. Trump account. If anyone have grandchildren and 2 kiddies, Dr. Cox, if they are below 18, you can put $5,000 for the children. And if you have grandchildren by any chance this year, Trump is giving you $1,000 for free. Put the money there. It's like almost a Roth account for the kids. Very, very powerful. The last few topic, estate tax. Remember, I spoke about it went up 15 million each, almost 30 million. Senior deduction, if your income is below $150,000, the standard deduction is more for senior citizens due to big beautiful bill. Just in case, if you're self-employed, if you have 1099 income, you need a bigger car. Again, you have a locum getting 1099, and you need a bigger car. And if you buy the car under the name of the corporation, car weigh more than 6,000 pound, like Tesla Model X, I'm giving an example, you can get to write off the full purchase price from your K1 on 1099. Very, very powerful. This year is 100% deduction. All right. And lastly, if you buy car made of America, it depending on the income limit though, the interest you pay, you can get to write off as well. Car made of America. So again, this is in a nutshell, the big highlights of the big beautiful bill. I know there's a lot of debates about, the Medicare tax cuts and everything, but from a financial planning topic, these are some of the things will help you a little bit. And this next slide, I just want to summarize that for 2026, you have plenty of time to do it, all of this. The audience can take a picture, and I'm sure the recordings are there, and they can sit down and speak to your CPA, which one is applicable for them. Now, which one? I will just talk about really quickly, some of them. The estimated taxes, every year from W-2, from 1099, you have estimated taxes, by the way. The estimated taxes are due by the end of the year, always. The rule of thumb is about 90% of previous year or 110% this year. You have to pay the estimated taxes. Very, very powerful. Number two, by the way, there's something called super catch-up, a new law passed just in case, or if you age over 60, 63, there's a super catch-up though. It's not $7,500, it's $4,000 more if you're over the age of 60 to 63. So speak to your employer if you're contributing into a 401k, if you qualify for the super catch-up. Lastly, try to keep your income down below $500,000. Remember, I spoke about the big beautiful bill, then you get more deduction. This year, 2026, $19,000 you can gift to your children. The money is out of your state if you want to gift it. If your net worth is, just in case, north of 20 million, if you have grandchildren, one option could be you can pay for their tuition directly for their school. And this money is also out of your state. Don't forget Trump account for the grandkids. Don't forget about QBI. I spoke about if you need a bigger vehicle, weigh more 6,000 pounds, don't forget about it. Cost segregation for real estate, I just spoke about it. Just in case, a lot of physicians, Dr. Velakapuri, if you're 1099 income, they forget, try to employ your children if they're over 14 to your payroll. Why? Employ them a little bit, make them work, and pay them $7,000 each. And open up a Roth IRA for them. Very, very powerful though, okay? Even if your income is 50,000, just employ them if you're over 14. So again, put the children in the payroll. Charitable contribution before December, if you're charity minded, that you are, you can definitely open up like a donor advised fund, put the money, and that's money. It will help you itemize your deduction. Backdoor Roth IRA. Last few topic, tax loss harvesting. Every year, there's some stocks goes up, some stock goes down. So if a stock this year is down, for example, today Microsoft is down 11%. I'm giving an example. If you're losing money in Microsoft, one option could be sell it and buy similar with this money, similar stock. What's the benefit? You can get to write off $3,000 from your W-2 or any other profit you have it, you can offset the profit there as well. And lastly, these two topics is still applicable for 2025 and 2026. The backdoor Roth IRA, cash balance plan, and HSA account, you can still do it for 2026 for sure. So I know it's a long list of a short question you ask, but I just want to point out every there and take a picture and feel free to speak to your CPA about 2026.
No, that was a lot of information packed in, one slide. What about a lot of concentrated positions like NVIDIA on a low cost basis? What do you do to lower those taxes?
Yeah, a couple of suggestions. One option could be if you're charity minded, and a lot of my physician client nowadays bought this company called PLTR. I'm giving an example. Palantir went up like crazy. All right, if that's the situation and you don't You're charity minded. One option could be you can donate to this. I'm just hovering my mouse, the donor advice fund. You can just donate it, the stock. What's the advantage? What happened? You get the deduction, number one. Number two, the cost basis also got transferred onto that. And you can sell it. And what happened? You pay no taxes. One option could be you donate the stock. Number two, if you don't need this money, one option could be you leave it for the children in a revocable trust. And the advantage is, if when you pass away, if you pass away, the children inherited, their new cost will be the market cost. That could be the second option. And third option would be, as I mentioned, the tax loss harvesting. If you have a stock which is down, you can sell it. And the concentrated position, you can try to trim it every year a little bit so it becomes less portion of your overall accounts. So these are some of the ideas. Sit down with your CPA and say which one makes sense.
Yeah, cool. How much do you recommend contributing in 401k, and also do you recommend Roth or pre-tax contributions? Let's
Very
talk a
good.
little bit more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should contribute at least the employer match to get started into 401k. And why? Because it's free money. Usually the employer matches at least, like Wall Street Alliance Group in our company, we have a safe harbor match. If you contribute, what happened? We give 100% for 3% and then 50%. So up to 4% we match it. So if your income is 100,000, at least contribute 4,000 so you get the free money from the employer for sure. And then after that, if you can pay off your debts, you have a lot of, then the budget needs to come into play, how much you have to run your family too. Then the residual money question at that time, is it a pre-tax or Roth? If you're in a low income bracket, if you're young, most likely you're in a low income tax bracket, try to do 401k Roth. Starting point is the Roth. Because you're in a low income tax bracket, it will go higher. So pay your taxes and put the money into Roth. That's the ideal. But if you're in a high income tax bracket, and when you retire, you'll be in a low income tax bracket in the future, you should do 401k pre-tax. So again, Roth should be if you're in a low income tax bracket, and pre-tax should be if you're in a high income tax bracket. Hopefully it gives you some guidance. But remember, these are, again, punchline. Don't just act on it. Sit down with your CPA because there's a lot of variables there.
There's one question side. So there are a couple of people maybe on having a W-2 and a 1099, let's say. There's a lot of spouses, couples that are, one maybe W-2, 1099. Then how does the W-2 affect the tax on the 1099? They're paying, just kind of give us a outlook towards that.
Yeah, so 1099 really give you a lot of deductions. All right. So question is which one? A lot of physicians ask me, should I go for 1099 or W-2? That's the question. We have to do a little bit of a math though to do it. So what happened if your income is 250 to 300? You have the option from the employer to take W-2 versus 1099. My experience has been just go for W-2. The reason is because, if you become just 1099, you have to pay the self-employment tax, which is 6%, and then 6%, which is 12% you do have to pay. You do lose out the employer match as well, though. All right. So, and a lot of benefit does go away. So I know you have to have a lot of write-offs, but you have to spend the money, though. You just have to understand, have to have a lot of write-offs. So ideal situation, you have a 1099, at least $500,000 to $600,000 versus W-2. We still would like to do the math. Then it makes sense to all 1099. So I know it's a vague answer I'm giving you, but a calculation needs to be done. What benefit are you foregoing? Because the health insurance is very cheaper actually from the employer. So you may not be able to get it if you're all 1099. So 1099 is not always the answer. I think a math needs to be done with the CFP or CFA or CPA who can give you a good suggestion which direction to go. But ideal situation, have both if you can. So you can do the defined benefit plan and everything.
Dr. Cox has some input.
Yeah, this has been a really great hour. Let me just sort of tell you, I can't help anybody planning for a wedding, but the biggest cost that we had was college. Can you give particularly some of the younger physicians some tips and tricks about what they can do to try and, I mean, it's just obscene how expensive college is, and very different, I think, for your generation than for ours.
Yeah, for their children, right? You're asking a
Yes.
question.
Yes, for this.
Yes. Yeah. So the best starting point, my suggestion would be, a 5 to 9 is a good starting point. If you state of New York, up to I think about $15,000, $10,000 to $15,000, you have a state tax deduction. Nothing crazy, but you have a state tax deduction. So 6% of 10,000 is not bad. $600 you get it. And the money is gross tax free. Withdraw is also tax free as long as you use it for education purpose. Um, but my suggestion will be a balance act needs to be done that if you have a student loan debts of yours, of your own, versus pay for saving for the children, my suggestion will be take care of yourself first, somehow, if you can. Help yourself. Take care of yourself. If you're good, eventually the children will be fine. What you don't want to do is you have student loans plus you're thinking you're putting money for the children. Net is negative, though. So 5 to 9 is a good starting point. But a lot of time physicians ask me, my children, I want to plan for Harvard University or Stanford. You cannot plan for that. I mean, if you're that smart, they will take student loans like the way you did. So don't kill yourself because of that. My suggestion, enjoy your life. At the end, it works out fine as long as you take care of yourself.
Ilya Raiboy had a couple of questions. Let me ask you this important one, especially for early careers or people who are just graduating and getting into their first job. What should they ask, other than the direct compensation regarding, any financial benefits when they're joining some position?
Yeah, so there are two types of practice I see my physician's client join. One is purely hospital, and the second one is partnership. So partnership, there's a lot of, because what happened that the hospitals are tough to deal with. They don't negotiate at all. Looks like, I mean, take it or leave it. Get almost like get lost mentality. So nothing you can do. You just have to take it. Cannot even, we try to change one or two clause. We can't even do that. Looks like. But if in a private practice, my suggestion will be at least ask for some sort of partnership within 2 years, within 3 years, if it's possible. That will give you the big bargain for your buck, if it's possible. And when you join into the partnership, there's something called competing clause, non-competing clause. Try to ask for them that if for some reason partnership doesn't work out, they put like 90-mile radius. I think it's too much. Just tell them that the mileage, try to like lower it, and at least you should be able to like practice of your own if you can. That's very important. And lastly, there's something called phantom stocks. So what happened that we had a client who joined the private practice, and hospitals are left and right take over small practices, especially cardiologists. Cardiologists are not making that much money. Reimbursement is very low, trust me. And then hospitals are taking them over. That's why, it's impossible to compete. Looks like it. So, and then what happened? The new partner just joined the practice. They get no money, but just try to negotiate with them at least a phantom stock that if a sell happened, they get a portion of it within 3 years. Now, in terms of hospital, unfortunately, you just have to take it. Just look for the best benefit you can, like the FSA, HSA, 457, 403B, all the options possible, health insurance. Sit down with the advisor. They will go over it. They usually, Mount Sinai have good packages. Try to utilize all of this to help you somewhat.
This one more question he had is regarding non-traditional investments. We already talked about cryptocurrency, but precious metals, commodities, what are your thoughts on those?
Yes, once the basic foundation is done, again, I'm going back to that. Once you have index funds, you have paid off your debts, you have enough saving done. These are risky investment. This money you can just lose all of it in one go. And nothing matters. Like SPY becomes zero, it's a big issue. But if one index, silver metal or alternative investment becomes zero, doesn't matter in the market at all. So my suggestion would be once you get the basics done, only then up to 5 to 10% of your allocation can be get into that.
That's great. And then one final question before we let you go is, what about international assets? When you're living here in the United States.
Yeah, our recommendation, Dr. Velkapuri, that, like, for example, I'm from Dhaka. Like, I have properties there. So my parents pass away, or if I pass away, I inherit the money. There's no way my children will be able to go there and deal with the regulation there. It's insane. There's no regulation there. it's very hard to understand the regulation there. Impossible, pretty much. So my suggestion will be build asset here. America is the way to go. America first. So invest here, buy real estate, prices always goes up because the dollar over there becomes stronger though in India or Pakistan or in Dhaka. End up you losing money anyway, but over here there's more rules. It becomes very complicated. So my recommendation, start here first. Once you have so much money, don't know what to do about it. Okay, fine. Buy real estate, international.
Great, Syed. That was very informative. Thank you so much for spending your hour with us, and hopefully you have a contact that you can share if audience has questions. I think we'll close it out with final comments from our panel and with you. So I can start with Dr. Huda first, our youngest interventional cardiologist.
Yeah, no, it was very informative, and it's a wealth of information. We have to start somewhere, and I think starting early is the goal. We should start as early as possible. But thank you, Nishat. It was a
Thank you.
great session.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Dr. Sarah Martinez.
Hi, this has been very informative, and I think this is going to help. I think it's going to help everybody who's participating in this webinar and those who can get this offline or in another format. Great points to think about. Thank you.
Dr. Cox.
Yeah, just best session I've ever had on this topic. Very well done and informative. I would just tell everybody, don't panic. Enjoy life. It's not all about the money. It's all going to work out. You're all making good Joe, and you can figure this out. You're smart.
Awesome. Syed, do you have any final comments here?
No, I will just, what Dr. Cox mentioned, enjoy life. At the end, all works out. You guys are doing great, and thank you for whatever you do for us. Really, really appreciate your service. Thank you.
Awesome. I want to give a huge shout out to the SCAI Wellness Committee and SCAI Educational Committee as well on hosting this webinar. And we have 2 more coming up, so stay tuned. Thank you again, Syed, and thank you, Dr. Cox, Dr. Huda, and Dr. Martinez for an hour well spent.